Should you file your divorce in Miami-Dade or Broward counties? Because we have offices in both counties, we sometimes get this question, but the answer may surprise you. I'm Vanessa Vasquez, founder of the Vasquez Law Group. We have offices in downtown Miami and Fort Lauderdale, but also ones right on the border in Miami Lakes and Pembroke Pines. So sometimes our Miami Lakes folks wonder if they would be better off filing in Broward, and our Pembroke Pines folks ask if there's an advantage to filing in Dade. And the answer is yes, but not for the reasons people often think. But before we get into it, the first thing you have to understand is you don't just get to choose what county to file your divorce in. To file a divorce in Florida, first off, one of you has to be a resident here for at least 6 months. That doesn't mean you just own property here. That means your primary residence is here. Once the residency requirement is met, the next question is the proper venue, which is the legal term for the county where you can file. Generally speaking, for a county to be proper, one of you has to live there now, or it has to be the last county you lived together as a married couple. If you both currently live in Miami-Dade and you lived in Miami-Dade when you were married, there's not really an option. You're filing in Miami. Same if you both are in Broward and last lived together in Broward, you're filing in Broward. So where does the choice of venue come into play? If you've separated and one of you is living in Hollywood and the other lives in Coral Gables, now you have a decision to make. Either venue would be proper, so how do you decide? Well, let me tell you 2 things that shouldn't factor into your decision. First, the law. Florida statutes are the same. Picking one county or the other isn't going to change things like alimony, child support, or how assets are divided. And second, court costs. Filing fees in both counties are $408 plus fees. There's some things that you should consider though and talk to your lawyer about. Number 1, where's your lawyer located? If it's not us, with offices in both counties, you could end up paying more if your lawyer has to travel farther. Number 2, what's your lawyer's preference? While the law is the same in both counties, that doesn't mean that judges are robots. They got reputations for looking at situations in a certain way, and your attorney might recommend one or the other based on who a judge might be. Number 3, again, listen to your lawyer. There can also be administrative differences between the counties that could make a difference. For example, how full the court schedules are, or how many judges are covering cases. That could play a big factor in how fast your divorce might get finalized. And 4, where do you expect to be in 3, 5, 10 years from now? Hopefully, you and your spouse can be completely amicable after it's all over, and you never have any issues or need to change alimony, time sharing, child support, or anything. But realistically, those things happen. And most of the time, when cases have to be revisited, you tend to go back to the same court where the case started. You might be willing to make the drive during the divorce, but are you always going to want to go cross-county to deal with an issue? So let's recap. You can only choose which county to file in if one of you live in that county, or it's where you last lived together as a married couple. If you can choose, it's not going to change how the law is applied to your case. Judges all have to follow the same laws, and the filing fees in Miami-Dade and Broward are the same. Your attorney might make a recommendation on your case if they know how a certain judge typically rules. But then again, there's multiple judges in each county, and we don't always know which judge will be hearing the case. If we have the option, and one court is moving a little faster than the other, we may make a recommendation on that too. But overall, the biggest factor when you have the option should be convenience to you. If your case is contested, you're most likely going to have to go to the courthouse. And if you can foresee having to come back in the future for enforcement issues, those may end up in the same place you originally filed. That's why we generally recommend staying where you currently live. But that could change depending on the specific circumstances of your case. If you'd like to discuss your specific situation with our team, either Miami-Dade or Broward, just reach out for a free case evaluation. The link is in the description. Until then, I'm Vanessa Vasquez, founder of the Vasquez Law Group, where we make lives better in and out of family court.